Hello everybody and welcome to the first edition of this series, which has not yet been named exactly, but what it is basically I have already downloaded a number of rosters from the 2000s decade, and we'll basically be playing some games, and I'll be broadcasting. This is my first experience broadcasting at any level, but I'm really looking forward to it. Our first game today, or in this series, is from the year 2007. It'll be those rosters. The Blue Jays will be at the Texas Rangers. And I'm going to go ahead and cut right to, I guess, will be the end of a pregame show, even though there really won't be a pregame show. Just about set to go from Globe Life Park in Arlington tonight, as the Toronto Blue Jays will be taking on the Texas Rangers. It'll be Sean Markham against Vicente Padilla for a pitching matchup tonight. In steps the Blue Jays second baseman Aaron Hill. He'll lead things off tonight against Vicente Padilla. He'll be followed by Reed Johnson, Alex Rios, and if anyone gets on and stays on, Frank Thomas in the Blue Jay first. The first pitch from Vicente Padilla is a ball, 1-0. Behind those four, it'll be Troy Gloss, Vernon Wells, Lyle Overbay, Royce Clayton, and the catcher Greg Zahn. And the Blue Jays will send Sean Markham to the mound today. Padilla comes set with the 1-0. Here's the pitch. And it's a 1-1 count to the Blue Jays second baseman. And in 2007, the Blue Jays went 83-79 under manager John Gibbons. And over 2,300,000 saw the Blue Jays at Rogers Center that year. That was 7th of 14 in the American League. The general manager is J.B. Riccardi. It's a 2-1 count now to Aaron Hill. The pitch. And 2-2 now. We talked about John Gibbons, and we'll talk more about him and a lot of other tidbits tonight as it goes forward for the first batter of the game. The full count, and the leadoff batter walks tonight. So that's how we get things started tonight in Texas. The Rangers defensively will line up this way: Bird, Lofton, Sosa in the outfield, Blaylock, Young on the left side of the infield, Kinsler and Teixeira on the right side, and Gerald Laird and Vicente Padilla are your battery combo for the Rangers tonight. So that'll bring in the left fielder Reed Johnson. 2007 was Gibbons' third full year at the helm of the Blue Jays, and his last full year in his first tour of duty with the Blue Jays. He was fired in the midst of 2008, replaced by Cito Gaston, and of course Gibbons came back in 2013 when John Farrell was, I believe, fired, and he ended up going to the Red Sox to replace Bobby Valentine. It's 1-0 to Reed Johnson now. Here's the pitch. It's a strike in there, 1-1. Our home plate umpires, Rusty Valentine, Jerry Hillsdale, Kensley Jansen, and Mike Fillmore are the rest of your umpiring crew, first, second, and third, respectively. Padilla gets ready to send home the 1-1, and he'll do that just now. That's fouled off, gets the 1-2. In 2007, Padilla went 6-10 with a 5.76 ERA for the Rangers over 23 starts. 120 innings compiled. And 71 strikeouts. Fouled off again, so Johnson will stay alive. Catcher Gerald Laird puts down his signs. Padilla checks on Hill, then he'll deliver. And it's a 2-2 count now. And now a pickoff attempt, but Aaron Hill gets back in there safely. The 2-2. And Johnson goes down looking for the first out of the game for Vicente, and it's the first strikeout for Vicente Padilla. We saw the pickoff attempt with Hill at first. In 2007, manager John Gibbons put down the steal sign 8.2% of the time, going from first to second, and the runner was taken off, but it's fouled. Going second to third, it was 1.6%. All statistics are courtesy of BaseballReference.com. So ball and strike count now to Alex Rios as he bats third today for the Blue Jays. This is back to the pitcher. He won't try for second. He'll just take the out at first. And there's two down now in the Blue Jay first as Aaron Hill will move up to second. So here comes the big hurt Frank Thomas now. Of course, in 2007, he joined the 500 home run club as a member with the Blue Jays. First pitch strike to Thomas, 0-1. The 0-1 is fouled, and it's 0-2 now. The runner at second is Aaron Hill. He'll take his lead with 2 outs in the top of the first. The 0-2 pitch. This is in the air to right. In comes Sosa. And he'll make the catch, and that'll retire the Blue Jays in the top of the first inning. We'll go to the bottom of the first in the inning for Toronto. No runs on no hits, no errors, but they're going to leave a man on. There's Sean Markham. He'll be on the mound today for the Blue Jays. In 2007, between time as a starter and a reliever, he went 12-6 with a 4.13 ERA. 25 games started, 6 games finished, 38 games overall, 1 save, and 122 strikeouts for Markham in 07. And here is Kenny Lofton in to lead things off for the Rangers in their half of the first. He'll be followed by Michael Young, Mark Teixeira, and if anyone gets on and stays on, Nelson Cruz. Here's a bunt attempt by Lofton as he tries to get on to start the inning. And, a throw-in here by Gloss. We'll see how they score that one as it gets down the line, and Lofton will move up to second. And they're going to score a single for an advancement on the air. And on that note, let's give you the defensive alignment for the Blue Jays. Johnson, Wells, Rios in the outfield, left to right. Gloss, Clayton on the left side of the infield. Hill, Overbay on the right side. And Zahn and Markham are your battery combo. So here's Michael Young if he takes the first pitch strike 0-1. Rangers in their vest jerseys that made a comeback in the 2000s decade. And I would not be against making a comeback in the 2020 decade. And so 2 now as Young fouls one off. In 2007, the Rangers finished last in the AL West. This is back, obviously, when they had 4 teams. At 75-87 was Ron Washington's first season, and from that point until 2011, the Rangers got better every year. And then began a decline starting in 2012. And Michael Young goes down on strikes. So that'll bring in Mark Teixeira. He talks about it being Ron Washington's first year at the helm. And he got better every season. Had 3 90-win seasons in his time in Texas. 2 AL pennants as well before being fired in the midst of 2014. Here's the pitch. It's fouled 0-2. 07, the Rangers won 75. 08, they won 79. 09, they won 87. 90 in 2010. As this is on the ground, Lofton will have to go back to second. Clayton on to first, and there's 2 down in the Rangers first. In 2011, the Rangers won 96, 93 in 2012, 91 in 13, and then Ron Washington was fired after a 53-87 start. Picture that. You go from 09 to 2013 final losing season, have 4 straight, I said 3, I meant 4 straight 90-win seasons, and you get fired in the midst of a season. Baseball can be a cruel, cruel game sometimes, as it's 1-1 now to Nelson Cruz. The first pitch to Cruz is a ball, and then he swung through a pitch to get it to 1-1. Cruz fouls another one off, and I'll get it to 1-2. Cruz has enjoyed a lengthy career in the AL, being primarily a designated hitter, and currently is in Minnesota. This is going to get foul, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Upstairs to Cruz. And now a good account to 2-2. Today's starting pitching matchup was determined by the online application Will Decide as Cruz swings and misses, and that'll end the inning for the Rangers. We're on to the second inning now in Texas. No score after 1. In steps Troy Gloss to lead off the Blue Jays half of the second inning. 07 was his second and final year in Toronto. Of course, in 01 he was an All-Star, finished in the top 30 in MVP voting. Started his career in Anaheim, also stops in Arizona, St. Louis, and Toronto. Atlanta, I apologize. It's a ball 1-0 to him to start off. 4-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger. 3 of those All-Stars and both of those Silver Sluggers, and he's in a 2-ball count now, came with Anaheim. The top 30 MVP year came in 06 with Toronto. So 2-ball and a strike count out of Troy Gloss. He hits 5th in this lineup. Vernon Wells, Lyle Overbay are also due up in this inning. Anyone gets on and stays on, Royce Clayton will bat. 2-1. That's on the ground to second. Kinsler gathers, and he'll throw on to Teixeira over at first, and that'll retire Troy Gloss. Well, here's Vernon Wells now. Here's the pitch. It's on the ground, foul. In 2007, this ballpark the Rangers played in was called Ameriquest Park, and they were right behind the Blue Jays in attendance-wise. They finished 7th of 14 in the American League. A 1-1. That's a ball 2-1. Wells, this is going to get knocked down by Kinsler, but it's not going to be enough time to recover. Wells is aboard with a base hit. So that'll bring in Lyle Overbay now. And that's a strike 0-1. Overbay had time with Arizona, Milwaukee, Toronto, Pittsburgh, back to Arizona, Atlanta, and the Yankees, and then back to the Brewers. The 0-1. On the ground foul, and it's 0-2. The 0-2 to Lyle Overbay with a runner on first, struck him out. And there's 2 down now in the inning, and that'll bring in Royce Clayton. And with us being an AL park, it is worth noting that this is a DH game. So the catcher Greg Zahn with the 9th hitter in the lineup. Padilla will set into a stretch and now deliver. And the runner's off for second. And that's going to be a caught steal on the end of the inning. In the inning for Toronto, they get a hit, but he ends up getting thrown out, trying to steal second. And we'll go to the bottom of the second in Texas. It's 0-0. So here's slamming Sammy Sosa. He'll stand in to lead off the Rangers half of the second. And like we mentioned with Thomas joining the 500 home run club in 07, Sosa also joined a club. That was the 600 home run club. Markham is ready for his first pitch. Here it comes. And it's a ball, 1-0. Markham obviously had time as a reliever in '07, so we'll see how that impacts will be Charlie Montoya. As he is a manager, we cannot edit staffs in this game from the main menu or at any menu. So we'll see how Charlie Montoya elects to play it tonight as Sosa skies one foul. Lead 2-1. And now it's a 3-1 count. Hank Blaylock is on deck. Blue Jays in their alternate black uniforms, and these have always been up there for one of my favorite uniforms. I like both these uniforms that these teams are wearing today. Ground ball to Aaron Hill. He'll throw on to Overbay a little high, but Overbay stays with it, and that'll retire Sosa. Markham delivers the next pitch, and it's a strike called 0-1. The 0-1. Swinging, striking out 0-2. These rosters were courtesy of Go Jays 09. You can download this roster in the roster vault, and we'd like to extend our thanks to Go Jays 09. And let's see if your Jays can get the W for you here in this game. The 0-2. That's foul, and now it is going to still be an 0-2 count. The 0-2. And now he'll brush him off the plate to get to 1-2. Kinsler is due up third in this inning, and if Blaylock or Kinsler can get on, Marlon Bird will come to the plate. This is in the air. Third baseman Gloss is underneath it, and he'll make the catch. And there's two down now in the Ranger second. So here is Ian Kinsler now. The pitch is a strike 0-1. The 0-1 is fouled. Now it's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. It's a ball. Now it's 1-2 now. The 1-2 pitch. Ball, now it's 2-2. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Ian Kinsler. That's fouled down the seats and out of play. The 2-2. This is going to get through. That's a base hit, and the Rangers have their second base hit of the game. And that'll extend the inning to Marlon Bird. The first pitch is a strike called. The 0-1 to Marlon Bird. Pitch out. No one's doing anything. The 1-1 is in the air to center. Wells camps out underneath it. And he'll make the catch, and that'll retire the Rangers in their half of the second. We're on to the third in Arlington, and there's no score after 2. So here's Royce Clayton. He'll lead off for the Blue Jays in the top of the third. He'll be followed by Greg Zahn and Aaron Hill. If anybody gets on, Reed Johnson. That's, of course, assuming they stay on. And Clayton is started off with a ball 1-0. Sinte Padilla delivers his next pitch. And Clayton will bunt this one, but it gets well foul. And that'll get the count to 1-1. The next pitch is a strike. Clayton should have swung. He checked the swing. He did not. Royce Clayton, much like his teammate Troy Gloss, spent 05 in Arizona as Clayton gets hit by a pitch here. He is also the current head varsity baseball coach at Oaks Christian High School. Also at times with the Giants and Cardinals in his career. So here's Greg Zahn now. He stands in for a runner on first and nobody out in the top of the third. It's a ball 1-0. Zahn these days is now a public speaker. And Clayton is going for second, but a foul ball by Zahn will force him to retreat. Zahn played on a lot of teams in his time in the MLB. As it's a 2-1 count out of the catcher. Obviously was a part of the 1997 World Series Marlin team. He was born in Glendale, California on April 14th, 1971. So, happy belated birthday to Greg Zahn. 49 years old now. The pitch is 3-1. The 3-1 to Zahn. Zahn fouls one off, and it's a full count now. You mentioned Zahn and his teams he played for. Across 17 years, he spent 11 years in the American League, 6 in the National League, 5 of Toronto, 3 of Baltimore, 3 of Florida, 2 of Kansas City, 2 of Houston, 1 with Tampa Bay, 1 with Colorado, 1 with the Texas Rangers, and 1 with the Brewers, as Zahn will fly out to Lofton, and Clayton will be forced to go back to first. And it's back at the top of the Blue Jay batting order now with Aaron Hill. The first pickoff attempt, and Clayton's back in safely. The pitch. Ball 1-0. Hill obviously got to start with the Blue Jays in 05. Just fouled off, and now it's 1-1. Also, it's into the Diamondbacks, the Brewers, the Red Sox, and then the San Francisco Giants in 2017 before calling it a career. This is on the ground. This could be a double play. 6, 4, 3. It is a double play, and that'll retire the Blue Jays in their half of the third. And Ian Kinsler paid a price for that throw. We'll go to the bottom of the third, and it's still 0-0. It'll be Gerald Laird leading off the bottom of the third inning for the Rangers. He'll be followed by Kenny Lofton, Michael Yun. If anybody gets on and stays on, Mark Teixeira. The first pitch to Laird is popped up in the air. Overbay charging in. Gets underneath it, and will make the catch. And that'll retire there on one pitch. So that'll bring in Kenny Lofton. Career 372 on base guy, 622 stolen bases, 160 caught stealings. 781 RBIs, 130 home runs. Over 100 triples, 383 doubles. And Lofton's one of those guys, he takes a first pitch strike that I would describe as being that tier below Hall of Fame. They might be a Hall of Famer, you never know, but regardless, they turned in a very solid career. He, of course, played for 17 seasons, 10 of those years spent in Cleveland across, I believe, 3 different stints. The funny thing about Lofton is he played 10 years in Cleveland. Everywhere else he played for a year or less than. Of course, through trades and all that. Use a 2-2 count now. Any Indians fan out there might be able to tell me this. Is his number retired in Cleveland? Because it ought to be. Or at least honored in Cleveland. Like I know the Blue Jays have like a level of excellence or something like that. A ring of honor. Who knows? Full count to Kenny Lofton, and they walk him. That'll have to deal with his speed. On first now. The Rangers stole 7.8% of the time in 07, going first to second. And about 1% of the time going second to third. Here's Michael Young. He came up in 2000 with the Rangers. And much like his middle infield partner, enjoyed a lengthy career in the MLB. And there goes Lofton. Called strike, the throw. And it's not in time. He swiped second. A 14-year career for Michael Young. 13 with Texas, 1 with Philly. And then spent the last year of his career in the Dodgers. With the Dodgers, I should say. Actually, with Philly and Los Angeles that year. Here's a ground out. And that'll advance Lofton. And be a base hit for Michael Young. And that'll bring in Mark Teixeira. Enjoyed a solid career in the MLB as well. The first pitch is an excuse me swing perhaps, and it's fouled off. 0-1. Of course, in this 2007 season, the Rangers put 30 runs on the board against the Orioles. The ball on the strike count now. August 22nd, 2007. They beat the Orioles 30-3. And of course, that call was replayed on MLB 08 The Show on the PS3 version, that when they used to have radio and TV calls of iconic moments in the season. Texas has put 30 runs on the board. 30 runs! That was a terrible impersonation, I know. And a pickoff attempt, Young not going anywhere. The 2-2 count is fouled off, and he'll stay alive here. Teixeira came up with Texas, goes full here. Came up with Texas. Was traded to Atlanta in the midst of this 07 season. Then was traded to the Angels in the midst of the 08 season. Then signed with the Yankees in 09, and that's really where Teixeira took off. Of course, finishing second in the MVP voting in 09 with the Yankees, winning a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger in that year. He retired in 2016 as a member of the Yankees. This is fouled into the seats, and this will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat, or that was the 8th pitch, I should say. And Markham's up over 50 pitches now. And this is popped up in the air to left. And it's going to fall in for a base hit. It just kept, then it just dropped in. And that's how Texas scores the first run of the game. Lofton had to make sure this got down, but once it got down, he was able to score easily. And up the third goes Michael Young. That'll be a Nelson Cruz of runners on the corners. And this is line drive caught by Clayton out at short. And there's 2 down now on the Rangers. Half of the third. So here's Sammy Sosa now. That is a strike call at 0-1. The 0-1 to Sosa is now 1-1. The pitch. It's now 2-1. The pitch to Sosa. 3-1 now. Full count now to Sosa. Sosa, of course, played with the White Sox after leaving the Cubs. I'm sorry, before he played with the Cubs, he got his start with the Rangers, then the White Sox, Cubs, Orioles. And back to the Rangers as Sosa walks, and that'll bring in Hank Blaylock with the bases loaded. .60 pitches now for Markham, and as you said, he had relief. And he was splitting time as a starter and a reliever, so it'll be interesting to see how the bullpen factors into this game with Markham. This is in the air. Wells charging in. He'll make the catch, and that'll retire the Rangers in the bottom of the third. They'll strand the bases loaded, but they do get at least 1 run, and that was their first run of the game. Reed Johnson, Alex Rios, and Frank Thomas set to lead off the top of the 4th inning. Anyone gets on and stays on, the third baseman Trey will also get a chance to bat. Here's Reed Johnson. The first pitch is a ball, 1-0. Padilla up to 46 pitches. Here's the pitch. It's a ball, 2-0 now. The 2-0 from Vicente Padilla. And Johnson's got a 3-ball count now. And it's 3-1 to Reed Johnson. The 3-1 count. Johnson fouls one off, and it will be a full count. Here's the pitch, and Johnson's got a base hit. So here's Alex Rios now. He's 0 for 1 in this game. And they pitch out, nobody going. The one under Alex Rios is going to get up the middle, base hit. And the Blue Jays had the first 2 men aboard here to start the inning. So here's the big hurt, Frank Thomas now. As Thomas fouls one off, 0-1. Thomas puts one in the air to center. Lofton's there. And that's the first out in the inning. So here's Troy Gloss now. As you look at our top speed comparison there, Sean Markham at 90 miles per hour and Padilla at 95. So they'll bring in Troy Gloss. He's 0 for 1 for ground out in the second. Runners on first and second. 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. The pitch from Padilla. Outside for a ball, 1-0. Padilla's next pitch is a strike called, 1-1 now. Gloss checked the swing, but it was a cold strike anyway. The 1-1. And that's a strike, 1-2 now. The 1-2 to Gloss is a strike call, then Gloss is down on strikes. And that's 2 outs now on the top of the 4th. Padilla's 3rd strikeout of the game. So they'll bring in Vernon Wells now. He's center fielder for the Blue Jays today. He's 1 for 1 in the game. This pitch will be the 60th from Padilla. And it's a called strike. And Wells starts off 0-1. His hit came back in the second. It was a single. Padilla from the stretch. He delivers. And it's a 1-1 count now to the Blue Jays center fielder. Leo 1-1. Called strike. Now it's 1-2. Next pitch is fouled off, and we'll do it again, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. On the ground to short. Young throws on to Kinsler. And that'll retire the Blue Jays in their half of the 4th. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning in Texas. It's 1-0 Rangers. Here's Ian Kinsler, the Rangers' second baseman. He'll lead things off in the bottom of the 4th. And Sean Markham is being backed up by Brian Tallett in the Blue Jay bullpen. First pitch is fouled off by Kinsler. Kinsler only retired recently after last season. Had time in Texas, Detroit, Los Angeles, the Red Sox, where he won his only World Series of his career, and then retired with the Padres last year. A 2-time Gold Glover, a 4-time All-Star. The 1-1 pitch. And it's a ball on the 2 strikes to Ian Kinsler. The 1-2 is in the air to right field. And the catch will be made in right by Rios, and Kinsler is retired to start the bottom of the 4th. So here's Marlon Byrd now. And Byrd takes his first pitch strike, 0-1. mark him up to 66 pitches. We'll see. As we said, he was used as a reliever and a starter during his time in '07. We'll see how deep the Blue Jays let him go. Marlon Byrd came up with the Phillies in 1999. Played for a lot of different teams. A one-time All-Star. It's a 2-ball and a strike count to Marlon Byrd. And Byrd rips one. That's going to get down for a base hit. This is going to be extra bases. It'll hit off the wall. And Bird's going to have a one-out double. So that'll bring the catcher, Gerald Laird. And Laird ended up being a part of the 2011 Cardinals that defeated the Rangers in the World Series. He was the backup to Yadi Molina that year. 0-1. That was, of course, back when the Cardinals had a bit of a revolving door at backup catcher. They had Jason LaRue, they had Tony Cruz, all kinds of catchers. And it's 0-2 now to Laird. Of course, I guess when you think about it, the position of backup catcher is a revolving door for most teams. Laird puts one on the ground. It'll advance the right, but he'll be out at first. And there's 2 outs now in the Ranger fourth. Well, it's back to the top of the order for Kenny Lofton. And Lofton takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. He's had a single and a walk in this game today. Yeah, it's a ball and strike to Lofton. Next game we do will be going to 05. It'll be the Diamondbacks and the Marlins down in Florida. An interesting game indeed. 2-1 count. We're going to go to all different areas, all different times. From 2000, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 07, and hopefully more if there's more rosters to get out there. Michael Young's on deck with a 3-1 count to Kenny Lofton. And it's a full count out of Lofton. I think in this first rotation of games, I'm going to try not to repeat any particular season until all of them get at least one go around. I think the most interesting one will be game number 6 in this go around. We'll go to 2000. Seattle Mariners at Atlanta Braves. That should be interesting. The Braves were still pretty solid back in 2000, and of course the Mariners were on another planet back in 2000. This is fouled off, so he'll stay alive with a full count. This is going to get trapped in by Hill. He'll throw an overbay, so the runner advancing to third won't come back to bite him. We've played 4 in Texas. It's 1-0 Rangers.